So a few months back, right before we released Nobody Walks in LA, the SAG-AFTRA Foundation hit us up and asked if they could do a screening of the film at the SAG-AFTRA headquarters in their awesome theater there and do a Q&A afterwards. So we did that. It was an amazing experience. We had a packed house. Here's a section of that Q&A where I talk about the origin of the Nobody Walks in LA story. Hope you enjoy it.
To make a film happen, it starts with story and script, obviously. So kind of talk about kind of where the story came to be, how that kind of just formed, and how you got into the script mode.
Yeah, the story. I was working on a bunch of different short films for Sony Crackle, like in 2007, 2008, and it was kind of comedic shorts with a friend of mine who's a comedian who's very funny, and I was really happy with the stuff that we were doing, but I was like, this isn't really my voice. This isn't like, I'm kind of producing and directing stuff for someone else's vision, and I was like, I want to do something that's my vision. And so then I thought, all right, I want to make a small budget film, like a micro budget film. So I kind of started reverse engineering and thinking in those terms, like, all right, well, what could I do for cheap? What could I do? What would I care about? And I was driving down the 10 freeway and like looking at downtown, and it was one of those like gorgeous blood orange sunsets. And the first song that you hear in the film, Sunny Day Sets Fire, Smallest Heart on Earth, came on the radio. And I was like, I fucking love LA. I was like, this is, and I was, I'm born and raised here. And I just thought there needs to be a love letter to LA. There needs to be a movie that really kind of represents the LA that I grew up in and that I appreciate and that I've lived in, which isn't the Kardashians and isn't, Straight Outta Compton. There's just like a lot in between those two extremes that's rarely, if ever, addressed in film and television that I kind of wanted to show. And so kind of that was like an inspiration right there. Just kind of I had a moment of inspiration, and then I thought Nobody Walks in LA popped in my head, and I thought it would be really funny to do a movie called Nobody Walks in LA about two people walking around LA all day and really experiencing it. And having grown up here and been in high school, there was a time when I didn't have a car and I was forced to interact with the city through buses and public transportation and walking and so on and so forth. And so that was kind of the germination of the idea, and it kind of snowballed from there.
Talk a little bit about writing style. How did you, how many drafts did you, what was the feedback process like? Kind of talk about the journey in that.
Yeah, so the writing process, I don't have that, Sylvester Stallone Rocky story. I went away and wrote it in 6 days and came back, and all of a sudden, it was a very laid back writing style. It was like when I felt inspired, I would write, and when I didn't, I wouldn't. And then there was a time, kind of after, so I was doing all this internet content for Sony Crackle, and then the internet went away during like 2008, 2009. The whole economy went to crap, and I didn't have a job, and I moved back into my parents' house. And so that served as that got me to write. I had some extra spare time to write at that point, and my parents wanted me to see me doing something. So sitting in front of the computer and being able to show them that, hey, look, I'm working on a script, Mom and Dad. And although, it's still, my dad's a lawyer, and he was like, well, this isn't going to pay any bills. But once kind of I got put in that situation, I knocked it out fairly quickly. And then I had a couple of close friends who are writers who I shared the script with and got feedback with, and who were invaluable in terms of helping shape the script. I think a lot of the issues with the script in the beginning was really just exposition, because I had so much kind of like history and different stuff I wanted to add into the script. And how to do that in a conversational style where it's not like, hey, look at this building. This was built in and this is important to me because of this. As to make it feel natural and have that conversational flow, I think was probably the biggest challenge in terms of the script. And having good friends who are good writers and good readers really helped with that a lot.
Nice. Talk a little bit about, when did you know it was ready to go into kind of pre-production, add on your producing team, kind of start that ball rolling? When was that feeling for you, or talk about that process?
Yeah, a week after I was done writing it. You know?
You're like,
That was
right
like
now.
2011. No, I mean, I started writing this in 2008, 2009, and there was a lot of false starts in terms of getting this project going. And I had a couple different. I don't know how in depth you want me to go on this because there's. All right, so. So basically, I finished writing the script, and I thought, here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to shoot the first 20 pages because that takes place on a residential block, and then I'll use that to go out and raise money to show investors, hey, this guy knows what he's doing or can make something decent. And so I had that all set up with a different producing team at that time and different actors involved, and then. And the lead actress at that point was a roommate of mine who I'd lived with, and 3 days before we were supposed to shoot the first 20 pages of it and had it all set up, she booked The Walking Dead. So that was like first time strikeout. And then I brought on another producer the next year. We were going to go out and raise money, and he brought on another producing partner. And the reason I tell you this is because there were so many. I think it's important to realize, like, even if you start something and things go wrong, they're definitely going to go wrong, and to keep on going is basically the point of the story. So the second time I brought on a producer, he had a producing partner, and all of a sudden I get a call from him saying, like, you need to get rid of this other producer that I brought on. And I was like, why? He's like, well, I didn't tell you this, but we used to date, and she got really weird with me last night. And all of a sudden I was like, you want me to break up with your fucking girlfriend for you? I was like, all right, both of you are gone. Now, like, push it back another year, start from scratch. So this is the third iteration, the one that worked. So thank you, Jeremy and Sarah. Yes. Yeah. So this time I just decided I'm going to bring on a producer. I'm going to raise the money myself. I'm going to take care of it all and just, hire someone as a producer. And although that's not how the relationship ended up being with these guys, I put an ad out on Craigslist, literally saying, hey, I'm looking for a producer for my micro budget feature film. And when you're not saying, hey, I'm looking for a producing partner, you're like, I'm looking to hire a producer. I got a lot more people interested. And so Jeremy, I don't know why, he's like busy producing commercials, and he can answer this question, doing a lot of other great stuff, responded to me and said, he was the only one that I met with and that I talked to that was like, I want to read the script. Everyone else was like, yeah, sure, we can do it for this. No problem. We got it. Blah, 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 blah. And he was the only one who actually asked to read the script.
I actually think I was on Craigslist looking for a free couch, if I remember. So it worked out timing-wise.
Right. And so Jeremy asked to read the script, and I don't know, I'll throw it to you, Jeremy.
So talk a little bit about that on your end, Jeremy, because it's Craigslist. And
Craigslist is, what year was this? This was
2014, I think.
2014? Okay.
Yeah, okay.
Craigslist is just one avenue to check and to see what's out there, and it's incredibly hit and miss. I mean, most of the time you're going to meet some crazy person whose grandmother left them $20,000 and they're going to go shoot their terrible script. But every now and then you find something of quality and you come across it and you check it out and you see what's there, and I don't even remember replying, to completely honest. I might have been drunk, but I remember you sent me the script and I read the script and I'm like, this is such an odd channel to receive such a good script. And I remember feeling very lucky and fortunate that I came across this on Craigslist. And it was the kind of script that you can reach out to 20 different literary agents and you'd be lucky to come across a property like this. And I remember feeling very fortunate that I read the script. And when I read that, I met with Jesse and I saw he actually had a vision and a plan for this movie. I realized this was, whatever you want to call it, fate or the stars aligning, that there was something really special to be done here. So, and I had worked with Sarah. I'd known you for quite a while, and I'd worked with her before, and I thought she would be a good fit for the team. And we came together and kind of shared a similar philosophy for the film. And I think as soon as we realized that it was a good fit and it was a good philosophy to approach it, that we decided to work together. So.
Thanks so much for watching. If you enjoyed this, please subscribe. If you have any questions or comments whatsoever, just leave them below.